going to a con? Are you going to a Nationals, Pro Tour, or Worlds? Then you're going to want to watch this video, because this video is going to go over some tips and tricks on how to save some money, how to make the most of your time, and how to just overall have a fun weekend. And this is not only if you're competitive, but also if you're more casual, if you're trying to sell cards, if you're trying to buy it. This is for everything, covering it. So let's go. So if you're gonna be playing some competitive play, one thing you're gonna really wanna focus in on is getting a good night's sleep. You'll hear this across the board from a lot of different players. However, it is so hard to actually get that sleep, especially when you're going into day 2 or even into top 8. It can be nerve-wracking, it can be exciting, and it can keep your mind racing. In order to get that sleep so you can be focused for the next day and play cleanly, what I suggest to you is drown out all the other noise, drown out the noise within your head as well, and put in some earphones and listen to some meditation music. Listen to some alpha waves. I like ASMR. If that works for you, listen to some ASMR. Something to distract your brain and to clear out all the noise so that you can just start to slowly shut down and go to sleep. The next piece of advice is when you're playing competitively and you're doing well, it's going to be a long day of flesh and blood. You're going to be playing several different rounds. There is not going to be a break in between, usually. Sometimes they do, but most times they don't. You want to stay hydrated as well as you want to stay fed. Like, you don't want to just be depleted of energy round after round. So pack with you in your bag some water, maybe an energy drink to give you a little bit of pump, and then some snacks like some cheese and crackers sort of deal, maybe like a Cliff Bar, some sort of energy protein bar or something. Energy is going to be great. You don't want to get fatigued in the literal sense. Those are the big tips if you're being competitive. This will help you with those big competitive events so you can keep going forward. But let's get into the other part of the trip, and that is the more casual side, or with the boost and whatnot. Let's go there. Talking about vendors, there's going to be a ton, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can buy there too. Whether it's singles that you won't find your local game store, maybe some choice promos or something, some alt arts, whatever the case. There's a lot of cool stuff there. There's also some t-shirts, some metal fab tokens. Let me get into some advice here though. Particularly if you're looking to sell or buy singles, what you want to do is shop around and don't feel bad about it. It's your business you're doing. If you're trying to buy a certain card, make sure you visit every vendor to see if anyone else sells it better. Of course, if you see a card that should be $20 higher or something, maybe you just grab it there if you're in fear of someone grabbing it before you. But oftentimes you're not going to find like an amazing deal. You will find like some decent deals after going through all the vendors and kind of seeing which one is better here, which one's better there. There's certain vendors that you'll be more tempted to buy it from because they generally have cheaper product. And there'd be some vendors you're more tempted to sell from because they'll offer you more. You just got to figure out which one is which, and that's just by shopping around. So make sure you give yourself the time to do it, and always remember, if you're selling to a vendor and they don't meet the price that you want, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I just don't want to sell for that much, and just put it back in the binder and move on to another vendor, or just keep the card. It's your card, it's your business, and as long as you're polite about it, everything should be okay. There's also some other booths, which are some artist booths. Most notably, Steve Argyle and Mark Poole are some of the more popular ones that always seem to be at these events. Very cool in them. Sometimes you'll have other artists that you don't see all the time. And that's kind of you should take note of. If you have cards that you would like that artist to sign, or if you see very cool merchandise that artist has, like from their original proofs or whatever the case, if it's not Steve Argyle or Mark Poole, hold those artists more at a priority than newer artists that don't always come, because you'll see Steve Argyle or Mark Poole, yeah, they'll be at the next event. Those other artists, maybe not. So if you need something signed, get them first, and then you can go to Mark Poole and Steve Argyle. My other advice on that is there tends to be big lines with these artists. Big note is these artists take lunch break. They're human just like we are, right? So they need their lunch. So don't try to get in line during that lunch break, because once they go to lunch break, that line dissolves. Try to get either in the early parts of the day, or like the morning time basically, or after lunch. Those are going to be your best options for getting some signatures. Finally, there's a cosplay contest, and if you're not entered in, totally cool. It's actually pretty fun to watch too. You're just there just to meandering around. I would say it's kind of worth the 30 minutes to kind of see them. It's kind of relaxing. You kind of see a different side of Flesh and Blood, and it's pretty cool. Some of the characters that these people turn into are amazing. Great community, awesome thing to watch. It's worth your time. Let's talk more on the casual side. Let's say you're going to these big events to just play some casual Flesh and Blood. Or let's say that you're just there to support your friend, or you played in the main event and it didn't go your way. Well, there's tons of side events to have fun while you're there playing some Flesh and Blood. So my big advice here is take a look at the schedule. You'll see a ton of different options. It could be drafts, it could be shapeshifter sealed, it could be pre-constructed blitz, it could be, just some CC that can give you some double the tickets. There's a ton of different events that go on, and it's a ton of fun. UPF commenters are even more. What you want to do though is note the times, because these events will run into each other. They're not just like, okay, from 12 o'clock you have UPF and then 2 o'clock you have shapeshifter sealed. You're not going to be able to do both. You're going to have to expect about 3 hours per event. And it could even be more if it's like a sealed or a draft event. So kind of keep that in mind when scheduling like what you want to do. Know exactly what you can and cannot do. My second piece of advice is these side events will get you tickets. Tickets are cool. They can give you some really cool prizes. They can give you prizes that you won't be able to get anywhere else, like some cold foil tokens, which are beyond cool, right? Even cold foil heroes you can get there. So if you go to the ticket booth, which is the prize wall, and you see that there's something you really like, then out of some experience, I can tell you that if it comes to big cards, kind of like this, they go quick. So if you see like a big giant card that you want, you're gonna have to get tickets sooner than later. Because the thing is, if you wait until the end of the last day, so like on a Sunday, when you'll have the most tickets, because that'll be all the tickets from your events, a lot of those cards will be gone. A lot of like big posters, those wall posters will be gone. And let me tell you a little secret about those wall posters. Don't get them with your tickets. And here is why. All right. These posters here are what some of the posters you might see, and some of these were given to me, while some of them I won or we got through tickets. This one's through tickets, and so is this one. But let me tell you guys that Flesh and Blood has it on their website where you can actually print it off this size. It has it on the website itself. The only caveat is you cannot sell these. They are forbidden to sell, and if you're a store, you have to use them for promotional use. But if you're like me, you can just have them here on the wall, and just that'd be fine. So don't spend your tickets here, because you can just make these. It's probably a better value for you if you make it yourself than if you try to get all those tickets. So you don't need those. But like I said, there is some tokens that are cold foil. There is some heroes that are cold foil. And there's always going to be packs. So there's always stuff to spend your tickets on. As well as there's some cool playmats as well. My advice here is if it's a big card, go after it sooner than later. Sometimes playmats are like that too. However, if it's like a token, which are really cool, I'd really suggest those. Talk to the guys behind the booth. If there's not a huge crowd of people trying to spend their tickets, they'll generally talk back to you. You can kind of get a range of like, all right, do you have a lot of these tokens? Do I need to try to get them now? Or can I wait till the end of the day on the last day? Most of the times you can wait till the end of the day. It does depend on the event, so just talk with them. They're pretty cool about it. And that's it. That's my tips and tricks on how to save some money and make the most of your time and how to have some fun. These events are a blast. Even if I can barely afford to go to them, I go to them because I just have so much fun at them. So I hope that this translates over for you and that you have a blast as well. Guys, I appreciate it. If there's anything that I left out, let me know in the comments. But until then, keep on fabbing.